Hi, everybody. Hello. Welcome to, is this Snowmageddon or is it Rainmageddon that's going to happen? I'm not quite sure which one. Hi, everybody. My name is Jim Gall, and I'm the host of the Grit City Think and Drink. This is our, I believe, seventh or eighth year. I totally lose count during all that time. So it's in case anybody new to the Think and Drink, first time here. Excellent. So just so you know, this happens every second Tuesday of the month, except during summer when it gets swelteringly hot back here. Told you that was going to go off right when I came up here to talk. I'll get my food later. So the way this works is that I'll introduce our speaker. Sorry, it really will shut up here in a second. Thank you. You can turn those off. Oh, shit. I had no idea. I've only been doing this for years now. We invite different speakers. The topics can be all over the place, all kinds of fun stuff. I learn something new every month. We have talks planned through June, and then we take a break for 3 months and then come back in October. So hope you will join us again. If you want, you can actually Google Tacoma Grit City Think and Drink, and you can get the website, and there's a link you can get added to the listserv. Just we only send out announcements about the talks coming up, or you can check out what's coming up there on the website. Or you can also go back and look at recorded talks in the past to see what you missed and kind of check out some cool topics. If Jim didn't screw up the AV equipment that talk, one word of warning. So some of them are better than others because of me. Without further ado, what's that? Turn it up. I will. Sorry, I'm tall. Trying to not change her height thing here too much. So we're gonna give it. I'll introduce our speaker. She'll give her an amazing talk. We'll take a short break, give away some prizes, and then we'll do a stump the speaker, ask questions afterwards. So here you go. Pan is an anti-disciplinarian artist. She is from the land of fish and rice, where she grew up speaking Mandarin Chinese. Through sound and image, Pan enjoys working with people. In recent years, her work has taken untraditional art forms such as choral conducting, urban walking, window cleaning, love letter whispering, music therapy operating, and collective dumpling making, which is awesome. Pan is the author of the artist book. Sorry, in my screen set. Successful Amateur's Record on Glass. She also runs a podcast called Working Artists about artists and their day jobs. Currently, Pan is an art professor at the University of Washington. She says that she wants to be a cook when she grows up. Without further ado.
Hello, I told you I'm short enough for the mic, so you can hear me okay? Sorta. I mean, I will be very loud. Is this better? Okay. Please let me know. You're like, I can't hear, just be louder, and I will do that. Um, well, hello. My name is Yixuan Pan. I'm very loud. Welcome to my talk, from scratch. This is a project called From Scratch, Tasting the Tenderness in Food Production. So for this project, it's a community engaged art project. It's a community engaged art project um, that we are transformed everyday cooking. Specifically, in this project is dumpling making into a collaborative experimental theater, and in a way to making invisible labor visible, and also honoring the expertise and stories and histories of our immigrant food workers. So as you can see on the right side, this project is well supported by many collaborators and organizations. So I'm very grateful of that. Okay, so this might be a challenge, but I think we got this. Let's listen to the space. We are here right now. Let's spend 30 seconds just not talking. We can do other things, but really focus on listening. What can we hear now? Okay, I think that was 30 seconds. Does anybody want to share what they heard? Mechanical mechanical hum. Okay, thank you. Yes, the children noise, right? They're screaming, they're running around. Squeaking shoes. Okay, very dynamic. Something else? Laughter. Very nice. People enjoying food. Conversation, right? Enjoying conversation over food. And distant bass beat. Okay, that's really from a musician, I feel, right? Different levels of sounds. I'm curious. When was the last time you actually listened to food being made? This can be, a fast food chain. This can be a restaurant. This can be that you are making food for yourself, for your own self. This can be people at your home making food for you. Do you remember that sound? Have you paid attention? So here we are at Seven Seas. This is a small brewery in Tacoma. In a way, I think it makes me to hold this microphone as a rock star. I feel like I can really rock it out, and but also thinking about a craft beer is a way to romanticize labor because the brewer is being honored, right? We know the brewer, we celebrate their work. At the same time, a lot of time when we are consuming food, we don't really think about where the food is coming from. I am talking about not just people who cook the food, for who prepare them, but also the farm workers, the meat packers, the people who ship them, who store the food. And that's a lot of hands being involved in this process. They might be remain invisible. So I want us to think about sometimes hands create labors, but some hands are being seen, some hands haven't been seen. That's also another level of beautiful noise is the beeping of reminding your food is prepared by somebody. So go get them anytime during this talk. Okay. So with from scratch, tasting the tenderness in food production, we have so many components kind of construct this project. I started with a still life drawing workshop at the Tacoma Art Museum. And then before that, we actually had open calls, had different performers that we had gatherings and rehearsals to prepare for our two live performances. And then we followed up with a panel discussion. After all these live components, we arrived to 2026. So this year I am kind of tidying up all this footage and all this documentation materials, making that into a video to review what we did. And also beyond the live components, I am making a community cookbook that's not only going to collect the um, recipes and stories from the community, but also hope to serve as a resource to really help advocate for food justice and immigrant labor. So overall, okay. So overall, this project really engaged in, artistic performances, education, and community dialogue. Okay, this is the kind of the prologue, the first component. That's the still life drawing workshop at TAM. all the ingredients that we were drawing were part of the ingredients that we were using for the actual performance. So they were the ingredients to make dumplings. As an artist and as an art professor now, I really think drawing is something so basic to teach you how to look, to teach you how to observe. But how can we observe something that's invisible, right? What do we know about the food system that's heavily sustained by our immigrant laborers? How can we think about the journey that food had traveled before they arrived to our table, before we pick them up from the grocery aisles? Whose hand has really touched them? Whose hands have nourished them and packed them and protected them? And also, you know, even thinking about those gig econ gig economy workers through what Instacart cart they would pick them for you, right? They a lot of time remain anonymous, but we just um enjoyed the result of their labor. So for this kind of a guided walking exercise that we try to examine and making marks of those hands, how many pairs of hands has touched this onion that we might be using later. And very proudly, I want to introduce this beautiful dumpling makers ensemble. I had this great honor to work with 9 amazing API and immigrant women that they were the performers. So we gathered through the open call and they brought so much to this project. Literally, without them, the project would not be here, would not exist at all. So every individual just showed me how stories can really live on different pairs of hands. So we have here, I'm going to go from right to left. Sophia, who is an activist. We have Susan, who is a high school culinary program mentor. And we have June. She is a painter. And then we have Jen Parker, hi, who is here with us. Many of you probably know she's a local celebrity, a professional chef, and owns a business in Tacoma. And then we'll have Clarissa. She works for the city in the, I think, cultural program. And then in my arm, that's Nicole. She is a game designer, designs game around the theme of food. And then we have Isana. She is a talented contemporary dancer. Um, and then we have Shannon. She's a woman in STEM, that she is a biochemistry scientist. At the same time, she has a passion in nail art. So she actually made my nails for the performance. So I was able to play with them, making beautiful ASMR sounds on my teacup. And then we have Remen. She is a farmer, works at an organic farm. So people in some ways have things to do with art and passionate about food on top of their heritage, their culture. So I want to say again that the performance commitment and their generosity through the whole process really brought this project to a place I've never really imagined. They brought creativity, they brought their vulnerability, and also dedication that beyond my anticipation. So I'm really grateful for their engagement for this project. And also, one of the things I wanted to mention that the performers are getting compensated for their engagement in a way is, for me, is beyond saying thank you, I appreciate you, but rather to say, hey, I value your expertise, I value your experience, I value your knowledge. Okay, so this is the first performance. So the script goes, dim light, Start with a metronome. Flashlight as a baton. Performers stand by the kitchen counter and follow visual instruction in front of them as they cook. Just like musicians sight read scores when they play. One performer uses a handheld DV camera to film the close up of performers wrapping dumplings. The close up scenes of hand movements are live streamed on the big screen in the space. Trying to imagine what it's like if you didn't get to go to the performance. If you did, see if you can remember what it felt like. Here, I want to talk about instructional art. So instructional art kind of comes from this movement called Fluxus. It emerged in the early 1960s. And I have two little examples, one from Yoko Ono that from her book called Grapefruit, that here's, this whole book is like a book of poetry, but also instructional art, meaning that you can perform that in your own way to make it live again. So for this one, she says, make one tuna fish sandwich and eat, right? Think about that's something that probably all of us can do. So we can be an artist collaborating with Yoko Ono. And then under that, there's another piece of art by Allison Knowles that she had art just called Proposition, Make a Salad. Is literally she made a salad with people. So for Fluxus artists, think about that's the time of post-World War II, right? The world was changing. There's a lot of ideologies being shifting, and also kind of a decolonization really accelerated globally. And in the US, what we had civil rights movements, right? People start to challenge the idea who get to consider as fully human. And then looking into the art context, the art realm, that was in the Western art history, something called abstract, expressionism. It was the mainstream art, right? Dominated by white and male artists, creating art that's looks really fancy, very expensive, and hard to understand. It's not really for ordinary folks. You have to go to galleries and museums to be close to them, to have access to them. So Fluxus artists and also poets and also musicians, they say, fuck that. We want art that's for us. We want art that's close to our daily lives, that blurs the boundary, that we get to say, you can make art, I can make art, we can all enjoy art. So they come up with little prompts. They call them scores because it's still rooted in experimental music. So just like musicians can read scores to perform music, they would have instructions for people to make art. So the idea is as long as there's scores, instructions, anybody can make art and they can interpret the scores any ways that they want to. There's no wrong way of doing that. So for my project from scratch, it kind of sits squarely in this tradition, using visual scores and also relying on people's lived experience, their own interpretations. I had the performers interpret the visual scores as cooking instructions to collaboratively made this meal for all of us. Okay, time for you to try some art. Roll up your sleeves. Let's make some art. Yeah, if you want to take off your jacket, you can do that too. I'm going to show some of the scores from the actual performance that me and my performers had, all practiced on. So again, remember there's no wrong way of doing it. So imagine or trying to remember your time in the kitchen or you've seen people that's in the kitchen. This one is called mixing flour with water. So, so how would you do it? Okay, I see some movements, but I want to see more. That's beautiful. Do we have a volunteer to show the whole audience what you were doing? Maybe we have a Winnie. Yes, can you stand up so people can see you? Sure, you can talk about it, you can do it. Amazing. Thank you. Are you an actor? Do you sometimes would dabble with improv? No. Uh, thank you. Yes, so that's actually Winnie, my partner, who made the animation for the visual scores. Um, okay, let's try another one. Can anybody guess what this is? Rolling? Rolling pin? Knives? Yes, chopping. Okay, how would you perform this score? And there's some long ones, there's some short ones. Okay, who wants to share? Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. I love that you actually thought about a specific vegetable that you were cutting. Yes, like cutting off the two ends of onions and cutting the middle. Thank you. What's your name? Tyler. Hi. Thank you. Yes, thanks. This is so fun. Let's do another one. And this is called shaping the wrapper. Okay. I see very different interpretations. Some people are like this. Some people are like this. Some people went like this. And also, right, different movements. Awesome. Thank you. And last one. This is folding the dumpling. So the last essential step. So if you've never made a dumpling, it's okay. Imagine how would you seal that baby? right? You have to turn it, you have to rotate it, and you have to really pinch with your little fingers, but with a lot of care and precision. So thank you all so much. You just performed a micro choreographed choreography based on the score systems that we use in the performance. So, little hand gestures do carry a lot of weight and memories. But now let's see a little clip from the actual performance. In the room of full of sounds and beepings and laughters, it's probably hard to hear those moments. But I think in a way, it just like labor really well represented the labor that we experience in the food system. They're easy to be overlooked, to not see. So this is the second performance that we gathered around with this big pot of water. And the idea was when this the glass pot is actually being custom made for this project. So the idea is when the water is being boiled, that as we're waiting for the water being boiled, we would take turns. We took turns reading fragments of literature that's written by AAPI authors. So people are immersed in this fragments of stories when they're watching the pot being boiled. And then we would share the dumplings that we made from previous performance. There was also live music that being played that Harlem Chan, musician that sampled the sound from the ASMR theater made into music. So we had a big celebration. Spoiler alert, things sometimes don't go as planned. So for this one, if you went to the event, the water actually never fully boiled because the heat was not strong enough, and the glass artist I was making didn't have time to make a lid. So it was actually simmering the whole time, but it was not hot enough to boil the dumplings. However, we problem solved. We did actually use the kitchen we were not supposed to use, but then made the dumpling, cooked the dumplings and shared with the audience. After that, we had a panel discussion called From Soil to Soul, which celebrated and supported immigrant food workers. So for this one, I had my amazing colleague, Dr. Tabitha Espina, help me facilitate this panel discussion. I also had a stunning panelist. I had Ricardo, who was actual farm labor in Yakima, and now he's a poet. Talks about a lot of like touching stories, right? He writes about the souls from the field. And then we have Paul from APALA, which is Asian Pacific American Labor Alliance, kind of providing labor advocate. And then we have Luisa from Northwest Immigrant Rights Project that she provided the angle of legal advocate for immigrant laborers. So for this part, I was able to bring the acts from the kitchen, from the theater, into actions in society. In our panel discussion, we discussed the challenges that the immigrant food workers were facing, and also shared, resources like legal support, institutional resources, and also like labor organization networks. So it felt really meaningful to have a conversation that can connect to all of us in this way. Um, and one thing I want to point out was after the panel discussion, um, people stayed for another an hour and a half and just to share stories and chat and exchange numbers. So it was a very like heartfelt experience for me. Okay, now I want to like wrap this project up in context. Pun intended. So let's look at dumplings first in the center. So many cultures share the culinary idea of dumplings, right? They have different names. Some of them, my culture, we call it jiaozi. And in Japan, they call it gyoza. And then there is momo, there's um, mimosa, there is what? Tamale, pierogi. I think about calzone can be a giant dumpling, and if you're eating a sandwich, I think if you like hold it tight, it can pass as a dumpling, right? It's this idea of we want to put all the great things together as a pocket. So it's a symbol of togetherness that I find very moving. And then the next layer, kind of a bigger picture, is ASMR and cooking show. ASMR, if you remember, it kind of emerged in 2010, become an internet phenomenon that it actually means, I don't know if anybody knows what ASMR means. Okay, it's okay. It's not that important, but if you know, it can be a cool thing to say if you're on a date. Do you even know? Yeah. So ASMR means autonomous uh sensory meridian response. It's talking about like when we hear certain sounds, like whispering, crackling, right? Certain sounds would trigger this response on our brain. It's almost like giving our brain a massage to help us relax, to soothe our nerves. So starting from like 2010, it becomes a really popular thing. People like to watch it to relax or go into bed. And then for cooking show, it's like in 1940s and 50s, cooking shows started truly for educational purposes. Let me teach you how to make this. Let me show you how to make that. But then starting from the 60s, somebody named the Julia Child have this French chef thing, right? Really shows like cooking. It's so beautiful. It's so fun. And it's like a spectacle. Watch me cook. It now more and more become a way for you to passively consume the show, especially with our daily lives. Many of us might not have energy or time to cook every meals, but then we have time to consume cooking shows to kind of like cope with that need to get to be close with our food. Personally speaking, that I consume a lot of cooking shows and ASMR videos. And then kind of another layer of thinking about where we are in the space and also in time period. We're in Tacoma. If you have heard of Tacoma method, you probably know November 3rd, 1885, there was a large group of Tacoma men that were rounding all the Chinese railroad workers who were left, still stayed in Tacoma. They rounded them up, and that's around 200 of them, and walked them out, kicked them out of Tacoma. Um, so at the time that this method was being praised, right, called Tacoma method because it was so non-violent. But now thinking about it, nothing about it was non-violent. It's very cruel and hateful. Um, So then, if we move the time closer to today, thinking about the beginning of the COVID pandemic, even before shutdown were issued, many Chinese Americans and also other immigrant communities faced a lot of hostility and harassment because of misinformation and this stigma of it, right? And then let's look more closely and also more broadly in America. I don't need to mention the three letters that you would know what I'm talking about. Is ICE that um, is removing people from their homes and trying to pursuing deportation and putting people in very harsh conditions, and that caused a lot of fear in our immigrant communities. So with this context, I want to say that doing the from scratch project really showed me that dumpling making is not just an activity, it's not just a recipe, it is a rhythm. It is a lot of sound coming together. It is choreography. It is a survival skill. It is our love language. So it also existed in a world like this that is shaped by capitalism, and by racial hierarchies, um, and also by colonial histories. I think about the project having the ASMR cooking element, right? It's soft, it's soothing, it can be described as whimsical, but also it's actually built on the same tension between pleasure and labor. So I want us to think about what is your experience of this tension, labor and pleasure. So before we end, I want to bring us back to our own bodies, to our own hands in this room, to the food, and the food, then beer, right? If you have a beer, if you have a drink, or if you have empty container of your sandwich or salad, um, raise raise your beer, raise your drink, raise your empty salad. And let's toast. Toast the hands we do not see. Toast to the cultural knowledge we carry, and to the labor that feeds us all. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all for coming. Remember, I think it's April 14th is the next talk. It's the second Tuesday of the month. It'll be, sorry, I didn't have the slide up there, but Morgan Heinz will be talking about iNaturalist and how we do citizen science to do biodiversity surveys. And it'll be a talk right before there's a big what's called a bio blitz for this area. So you can actually come and learn how to be a part of the citizens that actually go out and collect information to feed into that bio blitz. So that'll be the April talk. So hope to see you there. So we will bring our speaker back up to answer a few questions. All right.
You can ask me questions. You don't have to. Happy to answer anything. Yes. Okay, so what the question was, what kind of open call was it? How did I gather the people? So my community partner, Asia Pacific Cultural Center, helped me distribute the open call. It basically asked that people who are want to be in this project, I kind of had a description of the quick description, but most people didn't know what it is when they signed up. And then I think I asked for to introduce yourself. Yeah. And I guess it was really based on their introduction of themselves and their relationship with food and labor. One thing though I do want to share, when I was responding, because I had overwhelming amount of people were interested in being part of this project, which I did not anticipate. So I was, stressed. And I also felt like it was just me. So when I responded to people, people were asking like, how long will it take that to, hear back from you, from you guys. So I would use the pronouns of we will discuss this, but it was just me to kind of have more power in a way that like, okay, can we do this? Like, okay, yes, we can do it. So we had this amazing group of women that I showed you, right? And they all come from really diverse backgrounds, not just like ethnically, racially, but also like their lived experience. I keep using this word, their relationship to food. So like one of the biggest highlights I feel was like it's the community that we built together. Yeah. And then so from the performers survey that we conducted, that people shared that they really appreciated able to like build connections with each other, had long lasting friendships through this project. And then people also pointed out that they appreciate that their labor being acknowledged, so being compensated for it. Yeah. So I hope that answered your question in a way. Okay. Thank you. Hi. Yeah, thanks for the question. So I don't know if you could hear, Nathan. I will reiterate your comment, your question. So Nathan was saying that they thought it was interesting that, because usually for an orchestra that people are not really watching them, but listening them, right? They would wear the same clothes. They're kind of like fading into the background. But for this, not only they're on stage, but they're also under spotlights. What was the thought process behind that? Yes, I think I want to honor the makers, the creators. And I think people say that, you know, Chinatown is so fun. There's affordable food and cheap massage. But I don't want people to just focus on the products. Focus on the people that created that. Focus on the relationship that actually nourished the service. Um, we are all actual people. We carry narratives and memories and histories. So I think that is a very intentional decision that I made to put people on stage and also share the authorship, share the interpretation, have them bringing their experience onto the stage, become co-creators of the theater. And I also want to give a shout out to Nathan, who's my former student, made all the visual, like the graphic design elements. So because I think part of it, the visual elements was so strong, the open call had a great response. So thank you. Thank you. So the question was there specific memories about food that brought me to this project? There were too many, I think. I think it's I want to share that like the reason I chose to make dumplings, the style is actually northern dumplings. I'm from South China. I came to the States when I was 20 as an international student. My people from the South don't really make dumplings. We don't really play with doughs. We play with rice, right? So it was not really my language. But I learned from a fellow international student when we gathered together, like during holidays, that she actually taught me how to play with the doughs. So it's in a way that immigrants have our own collective knowledge that we share. We build relationships. So I think about that a lot. And also just like, now when I visit my parents, I am the dough master because they don't know how to do it, right? I bring my experience back in a way to um, nourish them. Yeah, so I think that's one of them I can share. Thank you. Are there more questions? Yes. Yeah, so the question is like, how do I engage my students in class? Specifically, how do I get them to think about, examine like where, whose hands have touched the grocery items that before we purchase them. What I did for this particular exercise was did this guided meditative instructions for drawing that in a way that I brought fictional stories of, we have um this person who is 26 and has um I don't know, a poetry major. And while she's chasing her dreams, at the same time, she is gathering the grocery items for her, day gig. Really putting that process into perspective. So those are the people we can relate. That could be me, could be my friends too. So through like stories in a way that are based on research, based on actual like data, because in America, what 87% of farm laborers are immigrants, and in our food like service industry 57 of them are also immigrants, so that's like a lot of us, yeah, sustaining the food system. Yes, Ariana. So the question is, where am I taking this project to? What's next? So I am finishing up the documentation video for this project, which I will be, first of all, sharing with my amazing ensemble, my performers. And then hopefully we can use that to like reach more audience to help making this cookbook. So the cookbook will be, again, like have community recipes because every family makes dumplings, even the same type of dumplings, differently, right? That's our memories, that's our traditions, or adaptation because of the environment, because we moved, because we migrated. And then also like resources that can live with them for people to advocate and to support immigrant food workers. So to reference the life aspects, but also have more of a living, breathing possibility after those live events. Yeah, in a form of a cookbook. Yeah, thank you. Okay. If you want to talk to me, you can try. I will try not to bite. Well, yeah, say hi. I will see you around. Thank you so much for coming. This is a gift that I want to share with you all, my project. I am very honored to have this space that I can share this project with you all. So I am grateful that you are here to receiving it. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. Whenever you depart, if you wouldn't mind busting your stuff, because the staff actually gives us space for free, so we try to help them out. So you can put your empty glasses and dishes in that bin right behind him, and there's a trash can right there. Thank you all very much. We'll see you in a month, hopefully.